It's your boy Akinola Disu
and Chuck T's,
and welcome back to another episode of Driving While Black Podcast.
Yes, sir.
I know it's been a little minute. How you doing, Chuck?
Man, I'm feeling good, man. Back at it once again.
Back at it, man. We've been on a little hiatus, but you know, we back, man. We back to talk to the people. Talk to the people. If it's your first time watching, this is a platform for our black and brown brothers and sisters to talk about the immediate issues and trauma within our communities. We started the platform as just a place to air out our grievances and talk through our trauma. And also celebrate our black and brown people and celebrate our communities because we are doing amazing things. We've been on a little bit of a hiatus, life. Life happening, but we're back.
But
man.
we got to talk about that though, man. You brought another soul to this world on this hiatus.
Yes, sir. Young K-Dot, man.
Young Kendrick
Alonzo Disu.
Yeah, baby number
boy,
2, man.
Yeah. He's approaching he was born May 1st. So
he's coming up on 3 months.
Coming up on 3 months
already.
It'll be 3 months in like a week.
Yeah, man. I gotta tell you, congratulations on that, man.
Yes,
you have
sir.
a beautiful son, beautiful family, and
Thank you.
During the hiatus, man. Just watching you go through the transition of, one son to two son. Now you're like a 2-time champion right now.
Yeah. I'm feeling good, man. I'm back in rhythm. I'm changing diapers. Doing all that again.
Yeah,
So
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I guess I never stopped changing diapers, but I'm still changing Elijah's diapers. But yeah, it feels good, man. It feels good to have 2 kids, and they look exactly alike. So it's just weird.
Yeah.
Sometimes I just look at them, I'm just like, this is crazy.
Is it Elijah again?
Yeah. It's crazy, but it's cool, man. Elijah loves his brother. He loves helping out. He's just been good so far. Of course. Elijah just being full of energy. He's just a little rough with him, but
So how is it being just a father of 2 now, and just you being in the beginning stages of it, and it's still kind of being new, and you trying to adjust to like having to divide your attention to 2 kids instead of 1.
It's kind of me and Shelby kind of tag team it. It's like, okay, obviously she has to breastfeed the baby and kind of cater to the baby, so she kind of spends a lot of time with him, whereas I, when I'm home and when I'm off, I spend my time with Elijah more so, because he's full of energy, he's running around, so I, try to take him away from the baby, because sometimes, he's a little rough and things like that, so we try to tag team in that sense. So I guess I do spend more time with Elijah, because, him only being about 3 months now, he's sleeping.
Yeah,
he's shitting, and then he's
all about mama.
Yeah. So I don't spend a whole lot of time with him, but I do get to spend, time with Elijah, which is cool. And when we're all together, it's cool. You know, just seeing how Elijah interacts with him. And now he's getting old enough to where he's like looking at Elijah like, who the hell are you? Like,
he's starting to pay attention. Like,
he's starting to pay attention.
Who's this bigger little kid?
Yeah. Who's this dude? So it's just cool. It's cool to see what the relationship will be between siblings. Right now, Elijah is taking the role of like the bigger brother.
Nice.
Like he goes, he's my baby. He's my baby. So it's cool, man.
He out there like the third parent.
Oh yeah, he thinks. And we're like, no, he's your baby brother. He's like, no, he's mine. He's my baby. So it's cool to see. He's like, I want to sleep with Kenny on bunk beds and things like that. So it's cool, man. He's a good big brother so far, man.
Yeah, that's gonna be dope because since they're both boys, like Kenny has a path to follow. Elijah's gonna pave the way. He's gonna go to school, make his friends, find his groove, in his life. And then here comes Kenny. He's going to be right behind them. Like, okay, well, does your friends got little brothers? And okay, I'm going to meet my kids. And you know what I mean? So that's kind of dope.
And it's cool because Elijah has a personality for that. Like he's a leader, like, It seems like he's a leader, and he's very protective over his brother already. So I think it's going to work out perfectly in regards to, like you said, paving the way for Kendrick, and, just setting the tone and you know, so I think it's cool, man. I think it's working out pretty good, man.
Yeah,
it's working out pretty good. But I want to say congratulations to you too. You got some good news. I don't think we talked about it on the pod yet.
No.
You found out you having a baby as well.
Yeah, man. I'm having a baby girl.
Yes, sir. Congratulations on that, man.
Appreciate that, man. Yeah, it's just gonna be due beginning of November, late October.
Okay.
So a few months away.
Okay.
I'm excited because you know, I had a son first, so now I'm having a girl, and that's gonna be a totally different experience.
How does that feel, man? Having a girl? Because I wanted a girl at first, and then I've always wanted a girl for whatever reason, and Shelby just the first, like before Elijah, I wanted a girl, and then when I found out I was having a boy, I was like, all right, cool, dope. Like there ain't no complaints there.
Right.
And then I wanted a girl the second time around. And Shelby was adamant, I only want boys. I want boys. I don't want a girl. So I finally asked her, like, well, why don't you want a girl? And she told me, and she kind of just scared me out of it. I'm like, all right, cool. You might be right. I don't want a girl. But that's a blessing, too, man. Especially, you know, they say daughters take care of their dads, so.
Boom, you hit it on the head. So I was cool with having all boys.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, all right, okay, I'm finna have a team full of hoopers. You know, we finna play sports.
For sure.
Be rough, you know. But in the back of my mind, I wanted, you know, to understand that other side.
Yeah.
You know, because I didn't grow up with my sisters, so I don't know what that, like, home dynamic is like, just having a little girl around all the time.
Right.
So it's like I wanted to, you know, I wanted to fulfill both sides. I wanted to understand both sides of just being a father to a little girl as well as a son. So I'm excited. But as far as how I feel, I don't really know how to feel yet.
Okay.
Because I feel like, you know, I see my wife's stomach growing every day, but I'm just, you know, witnessing it. I'm not experiencing it and going through it.
Yeah.
So when my son was born, it didn't really hit me till day 3.
Right.
Like, so I assume that it's going to kind of be the same thing. Like, you know, day 2, day 3, it's going to hit me like, oh, man, that's my daughter.
Yeah.
You know, so
I
probably won't know until then.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing, like becoming a parent, especially, I don't know, for me personally, like just being a dad, because it's like you said, you're kind of witnessing it from the outside. It's like your body doesn't go through any drastic changes. You're not carrying the baby. You're not delivering the baby. So it's kind of like you're just an observer for a long time. Mm-hmm. And even when the baby comes out, it's like, okay, they're still feeding him. They have that bond with them. Mm-hmm. For me, it's not until when I did take him, like right when he was born, I was kind of just had that parental instinct where I was just kind of worried about him, just making sure, okay, is he breathing? Like that survival, protective, you know, mode kicked in. But other than that, it's like until they start developing somewhat of like a personality and coming into their own is when you start to kind of, at least for me, develop that connection with them.
Right.
A little bit more, man.
So that's around what, like 3 to 6 months? They start kind of getting their little individualism. A little bit.
Because like Kendrick is coming into it now, because you've seen him, like every time you guys seen him, he's sleeping.
Yeah, he's sleeping
half the time. But now it's like, I think the last time you saw him, he was like wide awake. And it's like, so now he's like wide awake, he's wide eyed, he's looking around, he's starting to smile, he's starting to talk a little bit.
Okay.
Like just maybe this week he just started like kind of jibber jabbering. So it's like, I don't know if it's for fathers or for me personally, but that's when you kind of start to like, okay, what's up, little man?
You start
like,
building it a little bit.
Yeah, like what's going on, man? You talking? Like what you say? You know?
Yeah.
Other than that, they just sleep. So it's just like it takes a minute, at least for I think fathers. But yeah, man, having a girl's dope, man. You ready for them tea parties? Ooh, and
man,
she gonna want to paint your nails. She gonna want to do your hair.
yeah. That's gonna be that's gonna be the interesting part, because you know, with a boy, I just gave him a ball.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And he went and did his thing. So now on the other end, like you said, tea parties and nail painting, and
that's interesting. It's like, as men and you have boys, it's like, here go the ball. We're gonna learn sports. We're gonna watch sports. We're gonna do the man thing, the boy thing. But with a girl, it's like, how do you create that bond and that connection and that relationship? Like, what is it, I guess, based on, or how do you initiate it? Like, what is it?
Yeah, and, you know, and that's why, like, I don't know how to feel. I have my boy Bruce. He has 4 daughters.
Yeah.
And he actually just had his first son 2 days ago.
I saw that.
Yeah, so I was
Oh, he had him.
He had him. Yeah.
Oh man, I didn't know that. Shout out to him,
so
man.
shout out to Bruce on your first son, man. Congrats. He told me, he said, I feel complete now that I have my boy.
Yeah.
Because he felt that there was a lot of things that he couldn't pass down to his daughters because they're girls. But he's like, now I have my son. He's like, now I can teach him all these things that I can do.
Yeah.
And I could give that to him.
Right.
So he feels complete in that sense. But I would ask him about like a daughter, like, man, how was having a daughter? And he was like, man, having daughters just made me real soft. He's like, I'm just real soft. I'm real sensitive to their feelings. Like, they love daddy. Like, it's all about daddy. Yeah. They want me to carry him, hold him all the time. And, and someone else told me, I got another friend of mine, Bill, he had his daughter about 3 months ago. And he said, from his experience, you're not a real father until you have a daughter. Yeah. Because then you learn that opposite side of you. You know what I mean?
Sure, yeah.
So I just take all these into consideration and kind of put them together in my mind to kind of see how, it'll go for me.
Right.
But with all that being said, about 3 months away and I'm excited.
3 months already, huh?
Yeah, about 3 months away.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
time flies.
Yeah, it's gonna come, like that. So I'm excited, just anticipation. Luckily, we don't have to buy a bunch of stuff because we got my son who's gonna be 2 next month. Yeah. And he still has all his baby stuff, cribs and swings and all that. So I feel like the transition will be pretty easy. It's
you gotta buy the headbands. You gotta buy
all the pink stuff, the pinks and the
dresses,
purples and the yellows. Yeah, so that's the thing that I'm looking forward to, just to see and feel that difference.
Yeah, for sure.
But enough about me. Let's get on to these topics, man. We're just coming off the heels of the 2021 NBA champions, the Milwaukee Bucks.
Yes, sir. Congrats to them, man.
Congrats to them. They fought hard against the Suns. Actually, I was rooting for the Suns because I wanted Chris Paul to win the chip.
Yeah.
But it's hard for a 6-foot guard. It's hard for little guards in general to, win the chip.
To impact the game like that.
Yeah, because there's only been 2 small guards to ever lead their teams to a championship. That's Isaiah Thomas with the Pistons and 90 and 89, one of them 2 years, and then you got Steph Curry in 2015.
Yeah.
Only 2 little guys to lead their teams to a championship. So Chris Paul would have been the 3rd if he would have got it done. So
Right.
But the Bucks won, and Giannis Antetokounmpo was the Finals MVP.
Yes, sir.
He had probably in the Game 6 one of the greatest closeout games to a championship ever. He dropped 50 and 14 with 5 blocks.
That's beastly.
That's Shaq numbers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's
so
crazy.
He was ready for that moment.
He just wanted it more.
Oh, he wanted it. He wanted it. So man, all the shout out to Giannis.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? But one thing I want to talk about with Giannis is he is the first Nigerian superstar basketball player to win a championship.
To win a chip, yeah.
I don't think we've had the only other champion that was from Africa, I believe, was Hakeem Olajuwon.
And Hakeem Olajuwon has a chip?
Yeah, he's got 2 chips.
Okay.
The 2 years Jordan retired and he went to go play baseball, Olajuwon swooped those up.
Okay, cool. So we do have one. We got Hakeem the Dream Olajuwon. Yeah.
So Hakeem's the first that I can remember, but that was over
a while ago.
25 years ago.
Yeah. What makes Giannis unique from Hakeem the Dream Olajuwon is his parents are from Nigeria, but he was actually born in Athens, Greece.
Right. Yeah. So he's from Lagos, Nigeria.
Lagos, yeah.
Lagos, that's how you say it?
Lagos,
Nigeria. And his parents, immigrated to Greece. And him and his 4 brothers grew up in Greece.
Yeah.
Actually, from what I understand, they left the oldest brother behind.
They did?
With his grandparents.
Oh, okay.
And took the other 3 boys to Greece.
Interesting.
You had Kostas and Thanasis, which they're also in the NBA. Kostas plays for the Lakers. He won a championship last year. And Thanasis plays on the Bucks with Giannis, and they got a chip together.
That's dope.
So, you know, that's super dope for them. 2 years in a row. Now all three brothers are NBA champs.
3 kids, NBA. You rate 3 NBA champs, immigrants from Nigeria that migrated to Greece.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
That's super wild.
That's crazy.
And just to, you know.
What are the odds of that?
Slim to none, bro. Slim
what
to
are
none.
The odds of that?
And that's what makes the story so amazing, because it kind of just shows, like, it doesn't matter where you're from.
Right.
Like, if there's a pathway you can take, man, you can win.
If you want it bad enough and you have that vision for yourself and you set that goal and you work towards it, yeah, you're going to reach that goal, man. The power of the mind and the power of manifestation is real.
Oh yeah,
it's real.
And I think the most interesting part of his story was that when his parents migrated to Greece, the children, specifically Giannis, didn't have citizenship in either Nigeria or Greece. So he was considered stateless for the first 18 years of his life.
Right.
And his mom would just sell stuff on the streets to make ends meet.
Right.
And if I want to say correctly, you know, I might have to look at this real quick, but it showed that the brothers, they would be on the streets with their mom, and they would actually, let me pull it up. Let me see if I can find it.
And I was reading a little bit about just kind of just being stateless and not having citizenship and things like that. And I briefly read that because he was stateless, they didn't have access to health care. And I'm sure they didn't have access to a lot of things that, you know, citizens of a country would have access to. Which hence is why they were selling things on the street and kind of just getting it how they could. And they had to struggle, you know.
Right.
So I've never really heard about that term, being stateless and being born in a country and living in a country, and not being a citizen.
Right, because in America, if you're born in this country, you get citizenship.
Right.
So the fact that doesn't happen anywhere else.
If I'm not mistaken, I'm not American, but I would assume so.
Yeah, well, you know, that's a thing. That's why there's, you know, you have certain conservatives that would prefer people not from this country illegally sneak in and birth their children here because America gives them that.
Exactly.
You know, so that's interesting that his family didn't get, you know, citizenship from where his parents are from, nor Greece. That's pretty wild. That
is wild. That's crazy. Just coming up. I guess when you're a kid, it's not something that's you're thinking about, but for his parents to be living in those conditions with 2 kids for that long of a period is crazy. And it just goes to show you that, yeah, man, you can overcome any obstacle, you can overcome your environment, your circumstance, as long as you don't give up and you keep pushing through. Because that's a hell of a hurdle, man. Being I think just a black kid in Europe, from another country in Africa, and not even being a citizen and having any real ties and roots in that country, and just now being praised by that country.
Right. So what's interesting is so it says, as his mother was in the streets, the boys, the Nassus, Costas, and Giannis, they would help out their mom, by hawking watches, bags, and sunglasses. And he also stated that because they were stateless, they had to kind of like be quiet and kind of be secretive, because if anybody would just be like, hey, call the police because these kids are loud, they would come check on them. And if they found out they were stateless, ship them back, or anything could happen to them. So they kind of had to be on their toes at all times.
Does it say why they left Nigeria?
It didn't really say why they left Nigeria. Okay. You know, that would be interesting to find out if they had that information.
Why they chose Greece.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting.
I'm pretty sure, you know, that'll come out eventually now that he's put in the forefront.
Yeah.
You know, but his story is interesting. Yeah. But to find out that Greece didn't grant him citizenship until 2 months before he entered the NBA draft.
That's crazy.
So them anticipating that they had an NBA star on their hands, they're like, oh, let me give you citizenship now.
And to think he was a star before, you got to think if he's entering the NBA draft, he was a star pretty much, you know, his entire before within the country. So like you said, they weren't gonna bet on him until until he was drafted or just about to be drafted. It's kind of fucked up, but you know, that just adds to his story, man. It seems like it's one hell of a story. So he's no what I liked in his post game speeches. You know, I could have went to super team. I could have clicked up with other superstars, but I'm stubborn like that. You know, this was the harder way, and I took it and we did it. And that kind of just, it seems like he's no stranger to, you know, taking the hard route based on his upbringing.
Right.
You know, if he could overcome that, you know, growing up in a European country as a, you know, tall, athletic black man, and then being drafted to the NBA, it's like, hell yeah, he can carry a team to the championship.
Right, right.
know?
And that was actually, I think that was a subtle jab at, like, James Harden. Because Giannis and James Harden have a subtle beef.
Oh, word?
Yeah, like during the All-Star game, they had, like, some words exchanged in media.
Yeah, but that's a jab to a lot of players. We can call them out.
Yeah.
That's a jab to LeBron. That's a jab to KD. That's a jab to Curry. That's a jab to some of the best players in the league right now.
I would say that wouldn't be a jab to Curry because he won a chip without the super team.
Did he?
He won the chip. He beat LeBron in 15.
Without
KD.
But yeah, Clay.
But they drafted those guys, so that's not technically a super team.
I feel you.
And LeBron, I give LeBron, like, okay, he went back to Cleveland. His Cleveland championship.
You a LeBron fan, so.
I'm a LeBron fan, so his Cleveland championship and his Lakers championship, I'm not going to say that's a super team. The super team was Miami.
Yeah.
So I would say the shot is at Harden and KD because they joined Brooklyn this year.
And then KD joined Golden State, too.
Yeah, it's a shot at KD because he got chips in Golden State, but then they joined a second super team in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
And obviously, you know, the Bucks beat them in the I want to say the semifinals. They beat Brooklyn. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like once he beat Brooklyn, it was like, oh, got past the super team.
Yeah.
Now let's put in his work.
Yeah. Now time to finish the job. But yeah, man, that's one hell of a story. And I don't think it's his last chip either.
Oh
man.
No, he's only 26.
Yeah.
He got a long way to go.
And he's hungry. He wants it. He wants to be the best.
Oh yeah, for sure. So he's gonna go down. I believe since he's so young and got his first chip, he's gonna go down as probably the best, if not the greatest. I'm not even gonna say Euro player, but just player that did not come from America to play in the NBA. You know, he has to probably pass up. Like he has tied championships with Dirk Nowitzki. He was considered like the best European player ever to come over, and Hakeem has 2 chips. So if he can get a second and third, he's gonna go down as the best.
Yeah, which I don't
non-American player ever.
I don't see why he wouldn't. I don't see why he wouldn't be able to.
He's got a good 9 years of solid basketball.
Yeah.
So
unless these super teams continue to form and thrive, and he, like he said, he just continues to be stubborn and tries to do it on his own. But he did it on not his own, but like you said, he didn't join a super team, so
it was homegrown championship. The old, that they say the hard way.
Exactly.
The way that Michael Jordan did it. The way that
right.
You know what I mean? These other guys in years past did it without trading themselves.
The way Kobe did it.
Yeah, no, I'm not gonna say the way Kobe did it.
But in a sense that
the last 2 championships, he stuck it out. The way Dirk did it, Kobe.
But I'm saying Kobe never, went to another team. He got drafted by the Lakers and stayed with the Lakers.
He stayed loyal to him, So he did it. They did it the hard way. They went through the trials and the tribulations and the failures to reach that mountaintop, which felt probably 100 times better than just, all right, let me just go to the team that beat me last year and win a chip.
That's some crazy shit.
Shout out to KD.
That's some crazy shit, KD. But you know what I mean.
Shout out to KD.
I like
he's
KD,
still
the
best player in the league right now. So. Like, KD, you know what you did, man. You know what you did.
But shout out my Nigerian brother, Giannis. Shout him out, man. That's big. And he's a funny dude, man. He's a good dude. All the clips and videos that came out afterwards.
Ordered
man.
that 50-piece nugget at Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, 50 exactly.
Not 49, not 51.
And that clip where
50.
he's like, "Where's my cigar? I want to do what LeBron did last year."
Yeah. No, Giannis, man, he's a good dude, good story, man. You can't help but to like love what he's doing.
Yeah.
You know, so shout out to him.
Yes, sir.
Great accomplishment, and we're gonna be watching you from here on out.
See if you can run it back.
We'll see. Next year's gonna be tough.
Yeah.
All right, but another topic that we got. You heard about the SHA'CARRI Richardson marijuana disqualification that she got.
That was kind of big throughout social media for a little bit. You know, a lot of people were talking about it. A lot of athletes posting about it. But essentially, what she got tested. She got it. She's what race does she do in the Olympics? Do you know?
She's a sprinter.
She's a sprinter. She's the
fastest woman in America.
Oh, really?
I believe so, yeah.
Right. So she got drug tested, and she came up positive for marijuana use.
For THC, yep.
For THC. And she got disqualified from the Olympics.
Right.
So there was a lot of athletes in the media that were supporting her and, you know, kind of calling out the Olympics in regards to, I guess, being, people were saying racist. Or a lot of people were just saying marijuana, THC is not a performance enhancing drug.
Yeah.
So let that girl run. Let that girl race.
Yeah.
You know
smoking marijuana is not going to make her a faster sprinter.
Exactly. And her reasoning for smoking the marijuana, she said, is because her mom had recently passed.
Yeah.
But of course, you know, the rules are the rules. So the Olympics, you know, they disqualified her and didn't let her run. And they're not letting her run.
Yeah, which is very unfortunate because she was breaking the internet for winning all these races, and you know, she had a specific look about her that resonated with a lot of our people. You know, she didn't do the traditional, like, I think she ran with like a weave in her hair, you know, acrylic nails, necklaces. So, you know, she had a look, and I think that's what got her popular within the community real fast when she was put in the media. But just, you know, her story being shot down and her being disqualified over marijuana is kind of disappointing, you know, to say the least.
For sure.
But the reason why we bring this story up is because Megan Rapinoe, a U.S. women's soccer player, has actually been touting her use of CBD and how it helps her in her athletics and recovery. So she's in the Olympics now, and she's kind of getting high praise for, you know, standing up, saying cannabis helps her with, you know, her sport.
Right.
And just in regards to recovery.
Right.
And so now it's kind of appears to be a double standard.
Right.
You know, and it could appear as a race thing because Megan Rapinoe's white, SHA'CARRI Richardson is black.
And they actually interviewed Rapinoe, and she said it, you know, it's I think her exact words is, it's fucking gross, or it's fucking disgusting. And she herself is attributing it to being, you know, racism.
So she did say that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think, you know, the article was just talking about the criminalization of black and brown people. And she specifically said, they're being racist against a black woman, and there is racism against black women within, I don't know if she was saying just sports in general or within the Olympics. She actually did say that. So I know a lot of people share her same sentiment. It's an interesting conversation. The conversation was being had before, you know, Rapinoe was brought into the equation, but now I'm sure it's a valid conversation.
Yeah, I think if SHA'CARRI was never disqualified and Megan Rapinoe was able to promote cannabis and the use of CBD in regards to recovery, this wouldn't be a story at all. But the fact that she got disqualified,
right,
and, you know, and now you're propping up Megan Rapinoe, it just kind of is like, ugh, that's not a good look. That's not a good look for the Olympics. And
I guess the difference is, I guess based on the guidelines and the rules of the Olympics, cannabis is not cannabis. What is it? CBD is well and good, whereas THC, which is technically, I guess, the ingredient or the chemical that gets you high, is not allowed. And because is it SHA'CARRI?
Yep.
She had THC is why she got disqualified. But again, Megan.
Megan, yep.
She takes CBD and is championing CBD. It's considered and looked as something different.
Right.
Even though it comes from the same plant.
Right. And that's kind of that's what sucks, because it's like, all right, they come from the same plant, but you're separating molecules. All right, this molecule is illegal, but this one isn't. You know, but so it's like, how do you, how can you say, like, it's either it's illegal or it's not? Right. You can't nitpick the micronutrient of the plant and say which is which.
Right. And if from my perspective, if we're talking about CBD, I would compare it to THC, if we're comparing it, would be more of a performance enhancing drug. Because
if you would
go as far as say that, because like she said, it helps her with her recovery. You know, it affects her body. Mm-hmm. So if it does that, I don't get why that is okay and THC is not. Maybe because THC is a mind altering drug. Maybe. Mm-hmm. I just don't get the comparison there. And yeah,
it's just weird because THC is not going to make you a faster sprinter, and right. THC is not going to make you kick a soccer ball harder.
Right.
But CBD will alleviate pain and ailments in the body after, a hard training regimen or after a game,
which could make you faster.
Which it could keep your mind off your ailments while you're performing,
which could help you perform better. Yeah, so it's just weird. In my opinion, I think I guess before the whole before Megan was brought into the equation, there was a conversation about like racism and the Olympics being racist, and another black woman being discriminated against and ostracized. I think that was a little bit of a reach, just because if you know the rules going into the Olympics, and you know what's allowed and what's not allowed, and you go against that, that's just kind of is what it is. It's unfortunate. I get that her mom had passed away and she was going through something, but at the end of the day, the Olympics don't really. The rules are the rules. They're not going to bend and break them based on individual athletes' circumstances.
Right. So I just believe the Olympics just need to relax on the whole marijuana issue, because at the end of the day, marijuana isn't a performance enhancing drug. It's not going to make you better at your sport.
Right. And that was also part of the conversation. It's just marijuana is not a performance enhancing drug. Yeah. So that as a drug needs to be looked at.
Yeah, it's not going to make you a better athlete. So, I look at it, from the point of view, like if I'm an athlete and I come from a game or a practice and I'm sore, I have these ailments, what is okay is I can take, prescription pain pills for my ailments, but then that's going to mess up my liver. It's going to mess up my kidneys, and I could become addicted.
Right.
With marijuana, you're not going to become addicted, and it's not going to mess up any of your bodily organs.
Right.
So it's a organic, healthier choice than prescription drugs. But the fact that they specifically point out THC and how that is a disqualifier, that just needs to be revised.
Right.
Because, like we said, it's not a performance-enhancing drug. So Olympics, y'all got to do a better job.
Right.
Straight up.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, that needs to be definitely looked at. But I guess now, with the Megan thing, the conversation can be had where it's like, I guess the conversation can be had, but again, in my opinion, if you know the rules and the regulations, it kind of is what it is. But there still is, I guess, if we're talking about black and white and, the criminalization of marijuana in the black and brown community, there is definitely a conversation there. So it's unfortunate.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure if somebody said, hey, SHA'CARRI, you could smoke this CBD just so you don't get disqualified, I bet she'd say, okay. I'm pretty sure she was just in the moment, lit up a joint, whatever, and just was trying to get her mind off of the chaos that was going on in her life, but
and is it do you know if is it random drug tests, or is it like they know, okay, every athlete gets tested?
I'm pretty sure every athlete gets tested.
Okay.
because they just want to make sure nobody has an advantage. I just don't think THC, marijuana, cannabis should be on the list of on their doping policies.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, although like marijuana is legal in different states and it's becoming, legal throughout the country, it still has that stigma.
So in other news, we recently, June just passed, and Juneteenth, historically celebrated by black people in this country. We celebrated Juneteenth because that was the day that black people were set free from slavery.
Right.
So recently that just became a federal holiday. Right. So now anybody basically around the country gets that day off of work.
Right.
So how do you feel personally about having Juneteenth as a federal holiday?
I don't really have any real feelings behind it. I think it's cool that there's a holiday, I guess, recognize like for black people, celebrating black people, if that's what it is. I think it's a holiday that black people have celebrated in the past, whether it being a national holiday or not. So the fact that it's recognized nationally, I think is cool and is dope. But I would rather see, just more things happening within the system to support the black community, tangible things happening within, the judicial system, within, institutions, within the education system, to support the well-being of the black community. I think a holiday is it's a symbol, it's a token thing to say that, okay, yeah, we are, black people are doing good. You have your own holiday. Look, we gave you a national holiday. I think it's a band-aid to, being put on many, many bigger, more important issues. But the holiday itself is cool.
Yeah.
It being recognized, I guess, is cool.
Yeah, I kind of feel a ways about it because, 1865, June 19th, the slaves were set free, right? So that's kind of like our Black Independence Day. We are reluctant to celebrate July 4th, 1776, because that's when we gained independence from British Europe as a nation. But black people weren't free at that time. So we celebrate June 19th, 1865 as the day black people were free. But to make it a federal holiday, I feel a ways about that because that's not really specific to us. That's kind of like for everybody. The last holiday that was announced to be a federal holiday was Martin Luther King Day after the Civil Rights Movement. So this is the second time we've been given a token symbolic, win.
Right.
So it's just kind of weird. Also, another weird thing that they're making a federal holiday that the slaves were set free. Right. That's great, but we shouldn't have been slaves to begin with.
Right.
So now we're celebrating. Oh, now we're finally seen as equals, kind of. But we should have been equals or seen as equals from jump.
Yeah, it's almost just not. It's not something. And I guess we are like, when I say we, like me and you are far removed from being slaves. So, to us, it doesn't feel like a celebration. No. If we were closer, or we were, I'm sure slaves would be like, yeah, that is a great time in history. But it just doesn't seem like it's something I don't know. It's weird.
It doesn't do nothing for us.
Yeah, it's weird.
I was fine with black people celebrating Juneteenth on their own.
Yeah. It seems kind of weird now. Other groups of people and being like celebrating this. It's weird. It's just weird. I don't know how I feel about it.
It's like, think about this, like when Cinco de Mayo comes around, everybody wants to, eat Mexican food, drink Coronas, wear the sombrero.
Right.
Yay, Cinco de Mayo. So it's like, it's kind of like a gimmick.
Just it's an excuse to party.
Yeah, it's kind of like a gimmick. And I feel like now,
Exactly.
Juneteenth is going to become that. And it's going to lose, like, its meaning to us. Like, we had a specific, okay, y'all can have July 4th, we're going to have Juneteenth.
Right.
And we don't need your approval for us to celebrate this day, because this is about us. But now...
Well, with that being said, is it our job to not make it a gimmick? And is it our job to put some credence and some things behind it that make it more of an impact?
You know what? I would say that Juneteenth, that should be a day that if, black people as a group or a race can have something important to put out on that day. So say if like there was something we wanted done, if there was, anything, in the judicial legislation that we'd want to, put out there, I feel like that would be a good day to do that, because we're representing the day that blacks were freed from slavery. So we can use it as a symbolic gesture that way, but to use it to party and wear dashikis and
buy
all
black
that,
and go to a black restaurant and eat, it's like,
no, you know what I mean? Like, we should be doing that anyway.
Right.
So
and bring awareness to slavery like that.
We don't need any more awareness.
Yeah, we don't. We're past the awareness. I think we need tangible things within our society to further, black people and black communities. A holiday essentially brings the awareness. Like you said, we don't need any more awareness. But again, it might be on us. The onus might be on us to make it into what we want, what we need, or want to make it into.
Yeah. I just think now that it's become a federal holiday, we can't allow other peoples to dictate how we act on that day, or what we decide to do, or what we decide to talk about, or bring up, bring forth.
What we decide to highlight, or just what we decide to make it.
Yeah, we should still dictate that.
Right. And it's I'm not going to say a new holiday, because like you said, black people were celebrating it for a long time. It's a new federal holiday. So I think, we just got to get in the think tank and see how we can use this federal holiday to, again, liberate black people in the black community.
Definitely.
The holiday's not enough, because like you said, before it was a federal holiday, it was a holiday within the black community. So it being recognized, nationwide is cool. Is maybe a step in the right direction, but it's not enough. It's not where, we can't be complacent with that symbolic, token.
Because I don't, personally, I don't want it to become a Cinco de Mayo. I don't want it to be where, anybody and their mom could, wear a dashiki, eat fried okra, black eyed peas, and you know what I mean, red beans and rice and fried chicken, and be yay.
And not even understand the significance of the actual holiday.
Yeah, right. I don't want it a day.
Because that's what Cinco de Mayo has become. It's just become a day to party and drink. So we definitely wouldn't want it to be that. And it feels like, it's the first time it's being recognized nationally, but it feels like that as of right now.
Right.
It feels like it's like, oh yeah, we're bringing more awareness to slavery and the specific time in history. So go support your fellow black business and go have a lunch at a black, or it's like, okay, is that all we're doing? Support, which is a step in the right. Go do that, but
you shouldn't wait till Juneteenth to do that.
And we need a lot more than that.
Yeah. And I just, and also I don't want that to be used against us, because that will come up in conversation when an incident will happen in the future, and it's like, oh, but you guys got Juneteenth.
Right.
And then now there's this separation. Oh, well, we gave you Juneteenth, or you guys have Juneteenth. You have something. Like, white people, we don't have, yeah, you do, July 4th. But, you know, they'll figure out a way to flip and spin that and use it against us.
Yeah, so I think it's on us. Like I've said in the other episodes, no one's coming to save us. No one's coming to, you know, get us up out of our situation. I think it's on us to figure it out for ourselves.
Right. You know, so that's with that. But the reason why I bring that up, because, you know, we talked about it's a symbolic, you know, gesture on America to give that to the country as a federal holiday. Also, what happened this year was Biden signed the COVID-19 hate crime bill. Mm-hmm. You know, with the whole, you know, Trump, you know, saying like this is the Kung flu or the China flu, you know, making references to Asians or Chinese people specifically. There have come to be a lot of hate and violence towards the Asian communities this past year, you know, during the pandemic. Mm. A group has been formed, and Asian people have got it to the point where it was heard by governments, and they've made it into a bill. They made legislation, which is a great thing. You know, it's a great thing that, there's a great thing that that happened to Asian people, but on the other end, it kind of left a sour taste in my mouth, because all it took was for 1 year, one incident for Asian specific to get legislation. But that's something that black people have been fighting for a very long time, is to get some type of legislation when it comes to, you know, hate crimes.
Right.
Like I said, I'm not knocking Asian people getting together as a collective and putting their dollars together to make this happen. That's what you should do.
Yeah.
But for us not to get that same thing, it could be on us that we did not get legislation or have not gotten it yet.
Yeah.
But you know, over past a year, man, that's just like, dang, y'all got that pretty quick.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and then while you guys got, you know, the crime bill signed in your favor, we got a holiday.
Right. Yeah. It's real. Like you said, it's no knock to the bill or anything like that. It's just, again, it's something that we've been, hate crimes is something that black people have been dealing with forever in this country, and it's we've been asking for some type of protection under the law, specifically for black people, and it seems like it's never come to fruition. So again, the fact that this bill seemed to have been, there's no issues to pass it. Again, it's a example of how, you know, black people are not really being heard in this country, and there's not substantial things that are happening to protect us and protect our livelihood. We're given, you know, holidays.
Yep.
But again, like I said, no one's coming to save us. We got to continue to plan, to get together, to mobilize, and figure out what we want and push for it and fight for it. There's never been a more opportune time in history than now. So, not to say it's going to be easy, not to say they're about to just give us whatever we want, but, you know, the time is now.
Yeah. Time is definitely now, and, you know, our voice matters. You know, what we put out there on social media to reach the masses, that matters.
Right.
But, you know, we got to stay on our own code. We have to walk a tightrope, because, you know, anything we do or say that can kind of make us lean left or to the right, we're going to be criticized, ridiculed, and judged if we step out, you know, outside that lane. And which makes it tough, because, you know, we can do something that's great, but then we can make one mistake, and it's like, oh, well, you know, screw what you just did. That was great for you guys, because you guys did this one bad thing or this one thing that was out of line. Right. And it kind of just dissolves the positive momentum that we have.
Right,
so,
right.
You know, like, it's up to us to walk that tightrope. It is difficult, you know, it is challenging, but you know, we got to do what we have to do to get what we want.
Yeah, we got to come together, man. And I think if we are able to come together and support each other and uplift each other and not tear down our communities or tear down our people, we can do great things. We're more powerful together. So I think the minute we stop doing that, things start to become a lot easier for us. So I encourage black people to come together and get some things done, and we are doing that. But the fight doesn't stop. I think a lot of the times, what I will say was what's publicized in the media is we fight out against injustices and police brutality and certain things when egregious things happen, and then we hear everyone's voices are amplified, and then that goes away, and then it dies down. And then a couple months later something else happens and our voices are amplified again and it dies down. I think the momentum has to continue, and there are a lot of people that continue the work all year round, 24/7, but I think that the spotlight has to be on that. The stories have to come out, the media has to cover it. And it's tough, man, because it's tough. People are more attracted to the negative and the bad car crash, right? But we have to find a way to just continue to push forward in a positive direction.
Yeah, as tough as it is.
Even when negative stuff happens.
Yeah, as tough as it is. Like you said, negativity is kind of what grabs the attention.
Of humans, yeah.
Of humans in general. And yeah, exactly. Like you put out a lot of positive things and it's kind of swept under the rug. It's not interesting.
Yeah.
Doing the right thing is not interesting.
It's not interesting.
But doing the wrong thing, that's buzzworthy.
Very polarizing, yeah. So I think, we have to kind of get away from that somehow and find a way to engage in, because for example, even just not even having Trump in office no more, it feels like no one's really engaged in politics.
Right.
It's kind of quiet. We were only vocal when we had
disdain for a particular person,
based on the things he was doing and the things he was saying. But now that this president is not as vocal, it seems like we've disengaged with the system, and that's not. We can't afford to do that. We can't afford to be rocked to sleep. So,
no, that's definitely what they're doing. They're giving us that Russell Westbrook now.
And that's what I said. I said the only good thing Trump did for this country is expose the underbelly and expose a lot of the issues to where we can now come together and have conversations. And if you think about it, that's literally what happened, and that's what he did. And now that he's not there, we're just going back to regular scheduled program.
Yep. And it's a sad thing because we said it once, Biden became president, Kamala Harris became vice president. We said, black people, we can't not stop. We got to keep our foot on their necks. Yeah, you may have voted for him, you may not have. But just because the person you voted for got in doesn't mean you just stop fighting. Right. Stop putting your voice out there. Stop, pointing out injustices and things that need to change within the system. Right. And, it's slowly happening. This is the first year of Biden so far. Yeah. I haven't heard one thing.
Yeah.
Coming out from the White House. So it's, if anything, it's going backwards.
Yeah. We're slowly being rocked to sleep. So, man, I don't know exactly how we overcome that, but I think it's just putting a light on it and finding a way to engage young people consistently, and not just every 4 years.
Right.
So
especially we have to vote locally.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, that's going to directly affect us. Versus the president, that's just media-wise, that affects us.
Right.
Because we're, absorbing that. But once that shit dies down, pay attention to the local stuff.
Yeah.
You know, pay attention to the governors and the mayors.
Right.
And city councilmen and...
Oh, did we talk about that?
No, but I think we should segment that in right now.
We'll talk about this real quick. So there was a clip on floating around social media in the news where a city councilman in Alabama, was Tarrant, Alabama, stood up in the middle of a city meeting and called one of his black counterparts or colleagues a house nigger.
A black woman,
a house nigger.
Yeah.
He said, he stood up and said, very boldly and clearly, are there any house niggers in here? Mm-hmm. And then proceeded to point to his black colleague and said, stand up. Are they? I think he said, are you one?
Mm-hmm. He was kind of, putting her out there.
Yeah.
In the midst of him saying that, everybody around kind of gasped and was shocked.
Yeah. And it seemed like what he is saying, and I guess what people are saying, it came in defense of, he was being accused within that meeting of his wife putting out racial slurs on Facebook. Mm-hmm. He was being accused of talking to just people in a demeaning black people in a demeaning way, calling them boy and things like that. So he said, it seemed like what he was saying, he was quoting the words of the mayor, who was a black mayor, mm-hmm. and was saying, he was basically quoting the mayor's words, like, this is what the mayor has said in private conversations.
Right.
It's kind of confusing. It's kind of weird. But I think he's alluding to the mayor using the term house niggers. Or specifically calling that woman that he's referencing a house nigger. Mm-hmm. Which sounds stupid, doesn't make any sense, regardless if what he's saying is true or not. For a city councilman to stand up in a city meeting and utter the words nigger, house nigger, and direct it towards a black woman, whether you're quoting someone else or not, is unacceptable. Mm-hmm. Totally. It's unacceptable.
Totally.
And the fact that he's not even willing to apologize. He actually said, I'm not willing to apologize for doing the right thing. So in his mind, he thinks not only what he did was justifiable, but was the right thing. He's some sort of hero.
Right. And my issue with it is, what is the right thing? What are you talking about? Like, what do you mean calling out a black woman, a fellow city council member, a house Negro, and directing it to her in public, on camera?
Yeah, he's off his rocker.
Like, what's right about that?
Right.
You know what I mean?
I think based in the context of how he's trying to defend himself, it sounds like he's basically, because his wife is being accused of being racist on Facebook, and he's also being accused of being racist as well in other conversations and things like that. So I think he's basically saying, well, why are you guys getting on me, our mayor who's black, in private conversations uses the N-word and calls other black colleagues house niggers. So why am I being targeted and being ostracized?
Because you're the dumbass who put it in public.
Right. And I think that's what a lot of racist people do. They say, well, you guys get to use the N-word. You guys. But yeah, that's another episode of Driving While Black. Thank y'all for tuning in. We are back
at it, baby.
So continue to like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, and follow us on all social media platforms, Instagram, TikTok, subscribe to our YouTube, all that good stuff. But yeah,
we got some information, some good topics coming up.
Yes,
and
sir.
We're looking forward to bringing that to you guys.
Absolutely. Thank y'all for riding with us once again.
And we out.
Peace.